Evening. Welcome to Thursday, or June 3rd edition of Ham Radio Q&A. I'm Michael, KB9VBR.
I'm Joe, KD9CGX, and in true field day form, Murphy has hit. That's why we're late.
We had a slight technical glitch the moment we were going to go on air, and I see my camera is still just a little bit high.
Michael didn't spill his beer. Don't worry, everyone.
No. That was not the problem.
No alcohol was injured in filming this live studio presentation.
Okay, so I think we're going to be good to go now. So thanks for joining us this evening. It's a beautiful day here in sunny, humid Wisconsin. So
yeah, summer is here. It's going to be 90 this weekend already. So. But I think a week and a half ago we had snow, so we go from 35 and sleet and snow to 90 in a week and a half. That's crazy.
That's the way it goes here. It's in Wisconsin, if you don't like the weather, just wait for it and it'll change. So
just wait a day.
Yeah. Well, everybody, we've got a full show this evening. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Just an veritable buttload, if you will.
In the second half, we're going to have a special guest, David Minster, NA2AA, the CEO of the ARRL, is going to be stopping by, and he's going to talk about Field Day. So everybody, make sure as you come in here, make sure you stick around for that, because it's going to be a really good show.
And if you have questions, make sure you post them as well. We'll try to read a few for you.
Yep. So if you've got field day related questions, put them in the chat now, and we'll kind of get them all queued up and ready to go for when David gets here. But any other kind of questions, please leave them below. We'll kind of work our way through them. And we've got a couple other things going on. I'll be talking about some things that'll be happening in June, of course. And also my recent trip to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
The UP trip part
the
two.
UP. Yeah. The UP trip part one, Baraga was just the warm up. Yeah, this was the real deal. So
at this rate, you may actually qualify for citizenship up there in this superior state.
I'm thinking as much. I know I got my money's worth out of my state park sticker. That's for sure.
Exactly.
So it's we got some people starting to filter in here. Our buddy Mike is here, and 741. It's Steve down in Texas, and we got another Steve too, and Bruce from Northwest Ohio. I know we've chatted a few times.
There we go.
W9ZO or WZ90 is in the house, and happy Pride Month. Yeah, it's Pride Month. So it's,
where's our Pride border? Can we change the backgrounds? Let's get some rainbows going on here.
Oh man, I don't know if I got time to do that. I plan to fail. That would have been awesome. I should have done that. Scott, field day in South Texas, the end of June is miserable. It's miserable.
We have a story to talk about this. This is.
We're going to save that for the second half. But yeah, it's miserable all over. Kansas. There
you go.
Another Chris.
Good evening, Chris.
And I think and cheers from Bahrain.
Cheers from Bahrain.
Ha!
Wow, I think that's a new record, Michael. I think we've had the Philippines, and now we have Bahrain. That's excellent.
Yeah, well, we've had some. I think we've had Germany too. So it's.
Well, what time is it in Bahrain right now?
That's a good question.
It's got to be at least 12 hours.
Yeah.
So it's got to be Friday morning over there.
Oh. Am I buzzing again?
Nope, you're doing all right.
Okay, I thought I heard some ground loop in the background. So
no, we're good. So in case you missed it, well, of course you missed it. We were delayed by a minute. At 6:58, Michael's microphone just went, and all it was static. So in the 2 minutes there, we had to figure out how to get everything rewired and going. So Murphy has struck.
You ever watch the movie Broadcast News? It's from the 1980s with William Hurt in it.
But no, I haven't.
Oh, there's this fabulous scene. It's they're getting ready for it. 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock national newscast, and they're trying to put this last second edit on a story segment. And of course, this is in the world of videotapes. So they're doing the what you call it. So they got the master tape laid down, and they got to run this tape to master control. So it's just a mad sprint across the other side of the building, and of course the countdown is going on in the whole 9 yards. And as the screen goes from black, they get the tape queued up in the machine. So that's kind of like it's a great movie. But
back in the day of actually having to edit tape with a razor blade. Now, all you young folk out there, back in the day before we had things called software, we actually had to get our tape, whether you were audio editing or video editing. I was in the last class in college that actually took physical, destructive audio editing. Ever since then, they got rid of all the tape machines. But you actually had to sit down and you had to play with the reels to find exactly where you wanted to make your cut and actually make a physical cut with a razor blade, and then you splice it together with Scotch tape. I kid you not.
No,
it's a lost art form. And the same thing is true with video as well. That's how it was all done. Nowadays we have fancy software, we have Adobe, and it looks magical. Well, back in the day, magic was, losing a fingertip or two.
I learned how to edit film with a razor blade and Scotch tape. So it's 8mm and 16mm, and that was a treat. But videotape editing was all electronic. So
there was a time when you listen to your repeater on whatever night they play the audio news or Newsline, they used to actually physically mail those out every week. Can you imagine that? It's either a cassette or then later a CD. Now it's just all online. I don't know how we actually survived the 80s and the 90s.
I don't know either. But Roger says that it is 3:06. Well, it's actually 3:08 a.m. on a Friday in Bahrain. So it's
still pretty early in the morning. So things are sticking up with us tonight.
8 hours. Yeah, that'd be 8 hours from Central Daylight Time. So.
Yes.
No. All right. Let's see. We got any? If we're going through the greetings here, if we got any questions coming up into the queue, leave your questions down in the comments below into the chat, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can in the first half hour, and then in the second half we're going to go to Dave, NA2AA for to talk about Field Day. So
I'm looking forward to this. This is our biggest interview ever. Like this is.
It is.
This is like royalty. Like he's going to come in and we're going to play Hail to the Chief.
Well, it's not gonna be quite like that.
I have the band back here ready to go. So.
Juan's got two questions. Good antenna, all HF, using it with an ICOM 7000 for an H2 Hummer, and where can I find the ICOM 7000 separation cable?
So the 7000 was the radio that replaced the 702 or 706 Mark II G.
706 Mark II G. So it's got the full color. It's got the full color display on it. It's about the same form factor.
Right. So the only place you're probably gonna find that separation kit is like eBay.
Yeah.
You'll have to watch around for that. I don't know if the 706 had the same separation kit as the 7000. I actually had one. And I gave it away about 2 years ago. I physically gave it to someone, said, here, you need it, I don't. So I'm sorry, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. But Michael, you have had some good luck with the shark sticks.
Yeah.
For mobile.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always a good option, especially on a Hummer. If you're willing just to change out an antenna for a band, the ham sticks are a pretty easy solution and they work pretty well.
I was going to say, if you got an H2, why don't you go just full mil spec and put a 102-inch whip on the back with an SGC tuner? Big spring, and then you can just tie it down to the front bumper, and you got
Right.
Envis and the whole 9 yards.
There you go. That's not a bad idea at all. That would be actually pretty sweet. And then I would do it. Yeah.
It'd look cool. I'd do it. If I had it's not that I'm going to invest in a Hummer, but I'd look for a military style whip.
Yeah. So I knew someone who did that. They had the 102 inch whip with an SDG tuner. And it worked really good until you got on the 80 meters, because you would run full power at 80 and there would actually be arcing between the whip and his tailgate on his truck.
Yeah. The base, it's like 5,000 volts or something at the base of the antenna on 80 meters.
It's right up there.
So let's see what else we got coming in. Any more questions here? People are just Bruce wants to know if any fox hunts are coming up. I don't have any fox hunts planned. I have the fox. Okay, another story. So our big fox, the one that comes in like an old ammo case, the owner of that comes up to me and says, "Hey Joe, you got my fox?" And I'm like, "I don't have your fox." Oh fudge! What happened to the fox? So I'm panicking at this point in time, because if I had someone's gear and I lost it, that's like a cardinal sin. I will go to ham radio hell for that. And then I wait a minute. Michael had it last. Michael, do you have it? Oh yeah, it's sitting in my basement. I was gonna return it to him, but I wanted to put fresh batteries in it, and it's still sitting here. So and I used up all my batteries on my microphone pack here, so now I got to get new batteries.
Your microphone only takes 2 AA's. I think the Fox takes like 6 or 8.
It takes like 12.
It takes a lot.
4 AA packs to get for that. Power that HT. So Marcus said, been taking the tech test and keep missing it by 2 questions. I have text anxiety. Any help would be nice. That is really, really test anxiety is hard to overcome.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have an easy answer other than, I mean, I don't want to say just keep on taking the test, because, but I would assume that you would, gain a certain level of familiarity by taking, I think the problem is that not so much taking the test, but it's just that public setting. And, I don't know if there's
that's a good situation there. So you say a public setting. Most VE teams, if you reach out to them and you kind of explain to them that, they may set up a one-on-one test session with you. Yeah. And if that helps you a little bit, that may be the way to go. We've done it. Someone says, "Hey, I don't have time to make it to a test session," and usually we have 3 VEs at least at a meeting, at a club meeting. So 3 guys will kind of take him in back, around the corner, and let him take his test, and that works as well. That's something that makes you a little anxious. I understand.
I was going to say, certainly ask for an accommodation if you can, if you can get a test in a more comfortable setting. It's maybe that could be a problem if now that we're starting to get over that COVID hump. Maybe if
say the C word.
If maybe a VE team can come to your home or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and VEs can make some reasonable accommodations, especially for anxiety or learning disabilities or anything like that. So reach out to them and talk to them. And believe me, most VEs will bend over backwards to do whatever they can to make it work. For you. And if you're only missing by 2 questions, dude, you got it. You know your information, your facts, just go in there and just lay that test down.
Absolutely. We just got to find that right setting so that you're comfortable in the whole process.
If you're that close, you'll get it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Richard says, when you feel rattled, stop, doodle on the side paper, let your mind change gears and get. So, there's a lot of strategies to kind of, if you've got that anxiety, if there's like, maybe like a relaxation or a breathing technique or something like that works. So.
Remember the fidget spinners?
Oh yeah.
Do you still make those anymore?
Oh gosh, I think that was a flash in the pan. But
Yeah, my daughter had one, and we thought, oh, this may really help her with some of her concentration stuff. She broke it in one day. Like, oh, how bad was your day at school, honey?
Yeah, so hopefully, yeah, let us know if anything works, if you can find an accommodation or something like that. So it's because Dave says, I remember the old days at the FCC office.
No, that's a little. Don't scare the poor guy.
No, that's anxiety.
Yeah, that's high anxiety. Government bureaucrat watching over you as you fill out your exam form, and then you have to go take the. You got to go take the code test after that on top of it. So no, you're lucky that we can make a lot more accommodations than what they used to.
I got another question that always pops up in the comments of my videos, and let's see. Frank says, and this is sort of a variation of some of the other ones, but when running portable with your 12 amp hour battery, what wattage do you normally run, and how long will your battery last? I'm gearing up for portable work and have an FT891 on back order. Well, the FT891 on back order seems like a terminal story right now.
Yeah,
but
most radios seem to be on back order right now, from what it sounds like.
So hopefully yours comes soon. I run my radio sideband 50 watts with the 12 amp hour battery, and I find that to be sort of a good compromise between transmit power and battery life. Usually with that battery, I can get, a couple, 3 hours, depending on duty cycle. So it. So
I have a 15-hour LiFePO, and I can easily get 3 hours at a full 100 watts. And that's jumping park to park to park, making about 15 contacts at each park, moving to the next one. So your mileage may vary if it's a sealed lead acid or a lithium iron phosphate, but don't be afraid to turn up the juice a little bit either. Yeah. And with the 12 for the solar panel.
Yeah, with the lithium iron phosphate batteries, what happens a lot of if the BMS or the battery management system won't let you draw more than what the battery is physically capable of delivering. So you'll max out at whatever peak current it can do. But with sideband, typically you're not running full modulation anyway. So a 15 amp hour battery should be able to handle 100 watts with those peaks. 12 amp hour battery, it's I just dial I could probably go 75. I dial it back to 50, and 50 watts between 50 watts and 100 watts is half an S unit, so people don't even notice. So I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to bring somebody on, but it's Christian. K0STH has got an event coming up in not this weekend, but the following weekend, the spring tune-up. And Christian was, 100 watts in a wire. He was kind of unable to get to the join us tonight. So I pre-recorded a little segment where we were talking about his spring tune-up event, and we'll just kind of run that interview right now, and then we can take a couple questions before we move into the second half of our show. Oh, and I'm with Christian Kudnick, K0STH of 100 watts in a wire fame, and I brought Christian online with the stream today to talk a little bit about an upcoming event. So Christian, why don't you take it away?
Oh, thanks for having me here, Michael. It's always fun. And, I'm going to try to hook you into being maybe a bonus station. This is the sort of event that's great for guys like you who like to get out and operate and get portable. It's not a necessity to participate. You can do this from the comfort of your own home if you like it. But, this time of year, it's all about trying to get out, test the antennas, and get ready or tuned up for field day. And it's a different environment. I think Field Day is one of the most popular events probably ever for radio operators. So I wanted to kind of create something where you could test your antennas, test the things you were working on, go where you want to go, and get ready for the tune. So that's and And it's just really a good excuse. I think that's what it is, Michael. And it's an excuse to kind of get out and play.
So yeah, your spring tune-up event is a perfect opportunity to kind of get the bugs worked out, or the kinks, out of a new antenna system.
And people may be saying, what do you mean? Is this a contest now? It's not a contest, but what I found, Michael, is we've got a lot of prizes, and we do a random drawing for these prizes.
Yeah.
And we've got a great a great, what do they call it, grand prize this time around, which was an ICOM 705, which is pretty hot right now, I'd say, for.
Yeah, and you mentioned prizes. Yeah, grand prize an ICOM 705, which is an awesome prize there. Let's see, LDG's got a meter, MFJ.
Analog, which are cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Those radios, yep.
Yep, MFJ, Bioeno, Elecraft, a little antenna, subscription in Nuts and Bolts magazine, some coax, optimized G5RV antenna. That's my favorite antenna. Subscription to CQ, 20-watt solar panel from PowerFilm, and of course, a KB9 VBR J-pole antenna.
Yeah, thank you for donating that. And that's it really rounds out. And there's a form underneath where you're scrolling there. And it's the simple form after the weekend's over. You just send it. All the information remains private, but we need to know where to send these prizes should you win, that sort of thing.
And, this weekend, we're talking June 11th through the 13th. I'll be out there. We're going to be out there again somewhere in some location in the greater Wisconsin area. So I'll be on the air. We can, I'll certainly can be a bonus station.
You he sounded like he volunteered there. There you go. I haven't announced the bonus station, but I'll take that for sure. I'm going to be live streaming right on the channel, but I think I'm going to go hammock portable, which I saw you do. I was like, that guy is the coolest. He is in the hammock and making contacts from the hammock, and the camera was there. I'm like, you're next level, man. I want a
hammock portable. Yeah, that's the pinnacle.
Hammocks on the air. I like it.
Of easy living.
You're a pioneer.
So let's kind of finish up here. Let's see. 100 watts on a wire tune-up is June 11th through the 13th, and starts Friday. 0-100 UTC.
Yeah, so technically Thursday evening for us out here in the Midwest. You're 7 o'clock Central Time. You can get on the air until about 7 o'clock, a minute before 7 o'clock on Sunday, and then we'll have our net come on, and you can join that or whatever you do. But that's kind of how that'll run.
And rules and everything else can be found on the website, 100wattsinawire.com. So
any band, any mode, anytime that weekend. We try to make it as easy and encourage people to get on out there whenever you can.
It's a lot of fun. I did it last year, and we had a blast. So looking forward to being a part of it again this year.
Now you're a bonus station. You get those 5 points. He's out there.
All right. So,
thank you, sir. I appreciate you, man.
All right, Christian, thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure. And don't be a stranger. We'll have you again sometime, and we'll do that collaboration yet.
Yeah, and come on the other side. I'll see you on my show too. I got lots of questions for you.
Let's do that.
Big brain. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, and just to reminder for everybody that the spring tune-up, June 11th through the 13th, you can find full details on that at 100 Watts on a Wire's website at 100wattsanawire.com. And also, be sure to check out their Christian's YouTube channel, 100 Watts on a Wire. He live streams every Saturday morning for about an hour and a half. Has some excellent guests every week and very intelligent conversation. I love
a lot more intelligent than what we have.
Oh yeah. Well, of course, it's Saturday morning, so. And does a couple nets Sunday evening, and for sure. So be sure to check out his YouTube channel there. Highly recommend it.
Last year for Tune Up, you and I tested out the was it the link dipole or the off-center fed dipole that we did?
It was the off-center. Yeah, it was the off-center fed dipole, because that was our we were testing field day antennas.
Mhm.
So, and that's the one we had stretched out in a county park. And,
Way stretched out. People are starting to look at us a little weird.
133 feet of wire. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it right. So
It was a very large county park, fortunately.
yeah. We had plenty of space, but people were wandering through our little picnic shelter. So it's but still a fun time. So I'll be on the air again, as you heard, as a bonus station. And as we're getting towards the midpoint break, I just want to say howdy to all of our new supporters on Patreon. We got a whole bunch of new associate producers. Of course, the associate producers we've had for a few months now, WZ90, Paul Sweeney, and Paul Westberg. But also, I'd like to welcome Brian Liebing, Tyler J., and Bo Brewer to the upper echelon of Patreon or of Cam Radio Q&A sponsorship. It's greatly appreciated, and your support is what helps keep the lights on and keep that mission alive.
Or in today's particular case, it pays for new batteries.
Pays for batteries, yes. Patreon.com/KB9VBR antennas. So, with that, I think I saw one more question here, and then without further ado, we're going to go into our guests. So, WZ90 asks, is there a QRP amp in particular that you recommend? And
don't say QRP and amp in the same sentence.
I know it's. There's these little brick amps. I know that people that they use the FT 718 or no 817, 818. They like the little Mirage amp and whatnot. And the Zygu isn't there a matched amp for the Zygu?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So. Probably go that route, and of course, Elecraft makes a little amp for their little KX3.
Elecraft makes everything. Really.
Yeah, they do. So, I guess I would go I would look at if you've got the Zygu QRP rig, I'd probably look at the matched amplifier for it because it's probably going to be the best bet. So.
My heart just sinks a little bit because QRP is like a fine wine or caviar.
Yeah.
Why would you? I mean, if you want a 100-watt radio, get a 100-watt radio. Turn it down to 5. A friend of mine did this. He went out and bought an FT818. I said, that's awesome, dude. Great. I'm proud for you. I'm really glad you're getting into QRP. Mm-hmm. I had a real nice little QRP antenna that I gave him. I'm like, I'm glad you're getting into it. Let's get you set up. And then he went and bought an amp. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like a steak well done. You ruined the steak.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you know what? Some people like you. So you bump it up to 25 or 50 watts. It gives you a couple less units. I get it.
Yep. Yeah.
Everyone's got a little bit different. The QRP radios, the 705 or the 818, they're great radios, and if you give a little more oomph, they're a very good radio. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's just like sacrilege. Like if you're going to do QRP, get into it.
Yeah, it's. Yep. I know what you mean. So, without any further ado, I'd like to welcome our guest. You've probably heard the name before. These are newish CEO for the ARRL. That's David Minster, NA2AA. So I'm going to bring Dave in here and welcome him to Ham Radio Q&A. So David, good evening, and thanks for joining us today. It's a pleasure.
Good evening. Great to see you guys.
All right. So it's really glad you could join us tonight and talk about one of my favorite subjects and it's sort of a tie between my all-time favorite and second favorite operating activity, but that's field day. So it kind of shifts.
And what's the other one?
I knew you were going to ask that. So it really depends. If it's March, then my favorite's the Wisconsin QSO party. But then every other month of the year, it's field day.
Unless he's in his hammock. Then it's whatever he's doing while he's in his hammock.
hammock portable, of course. And I know for a lot of us, I've always said field day is that one thing that kind of, it sort of seals the deal, because I probably, my first field day, I got my license in '99, and I joined the club, and you do your things and whatnot, and you don't really understand, I guess, the bigger concept of amateur radio until that fourth weekend in June, when I went out to the club's field day site, and somebody sticks you down in front of a radio and says, "Here, go work 20 meters for a while." And then it's sort of, all of a sudden, it's like, it's like being thrown off the dock. You struggle for a little bit, and then it's sort of, and then things just kind of start to make sense. And
a trial by fire.
Yeah, and then before you know it, it's 11:30 at night, and you don't want to go home.
Or the one time when we had one guy who got out at 8 o'clock, and we peeled him off the radio at 10:30 the next morning.
Yeah. So
I had the good fortune of doing a field day, and it was my favorite field day back in the 1980s, with a group of guys that today you would recognize them by their call signs. They're all top contesters. And the one guy, Phil K3UA, who's just like the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet, he wound up taking 40 meters overnight, and nobody woke up to relieve him. So when the sun came up, he was completely wiped out and was like, "Hey guys, thanks a lot."
So yeah, you've been there too, and I like the overnight shift. It's that seems to be the way in which the past several years I've been operating at field day, because you get there early on Saturday morning and you go through all of the setup stuff, and then and then the event starts, and you spend the next 3 hours putting out fires, and then it's dinner time. And then you're chatting with people, and all of a sudden it's like 9 o'clock. You say, "I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work the radio." And I usually from about 9 p.m. until about 2 o'clock in the morning, it's usually that progression from 20 down to 40 down to 75. And by 2:30 or 3, it's enough shut-eye to wake up at 6 and make the coffee. So,
well, what's great to me about field day is that it's a part of our hobby where no matter what your interest level is, you can be involved. You can be a part of a team if you want to. You can do it on your own if you want to. If you are not a big time operator, but you love erecting antennas or setting up the site, if you're a social captain and want to stand at the grill and debate whether we're making burgers or steaks next, it doesn't matter. No matter what you want to do for the weekend, there's a little bit of something in there. And the other thing is that it's a great opportunity, especially if you're in a public park or something. You're gonna get people that walk by and go, "What in the world are you guys doing?" And it's a great introduction to the hobby, so that someone who's totally uninitiated can see how much fun people are having being together and being on the air.
Yeah, and it's
a 30-foot antenna really draws a crowd.
That it does, and it to that point, field day really is it's like our annual homecoming, because everybody. Hams come out of the woodwork for it. People you haven't seen in years, they'll show up, and it's just not to operate, just to sit down and chat. And people kind of filter in and out through the day, and it's a lot. I think that's what makes it special, because you'll see people that you haven't seen maybe since last field day, or you haven't seen in 5 years, and they just kind of show up or just show up out of the woodwork. People I've never known, who you are or that you were a ham, but I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity for people to experiment with their stations as well. You guys were saying that you played with an off-center fed dipole last year. One of the things that we did this year is we put a end-fed half-wave antenna kit into the store in advance of field day. The thing sold out in a matter of 3 days. So we went back and restocked the store. It's almost sold out again. But guys want to be able to to get their hands dirty. But they want there to be some measure or some potential of success. And by going ahead and putting the parts together for them so that they know that by the time they're done with their effort, they're going to have something that works. I think is great. So you were holding up QST. I don't know.
Yep.
Did you guys see the field day issue of QST?
Yep, and that's what I got right here in my hands.
So I don't know if you noticed inside, but did you see the field day guide? So this is a pullout section of QST that's intended for you to take to field day. And it's got things like it's got all of the sections on the back so that you don't need to fumble around for a list. There you go.
Yep.
There's safety recommendations in there. There's even I remember one of the groups that I went out with on field day, there was a big argument about whether chili had beans in it or not. And
chili has beans, but no noodles.
Okay, well, and if you're from Cincinnati, it's on top of rice with onions and cheese, right?
Spaghetti, yeah.
Oh, spaghetti, right? Sorry, you're absolutely right.
Steak too.
But so what we tried to do is it was actually a recommendation that came into us for why don't we look at doing a pull-out supplement to QST. And I have to tell you, of all the magazines that have come out during my 8-month tenure as CEO, this has been the one that's gotten the most feedback. I mean, people just love this pull-out section. So it's really nice. I mean, you've done special advertising sections for like the Hamvention or not, but this is really, there's really good stuff in here. Yeah. Uncle Grant's Field Day Chili. So now the ARRL's Field Day Chili seasoning, we can get that in the store now, can't we? Yeah.
Anything to make a buck, right?
Yeah. Actually, no, this is not a moneymaker for us. Again, this is to try to guarantee you with some success.
So if you take the chili seasoning and you spread it over the antenna balun, it helps the propagation, correct?
I don't know about that.
It'll probably keep the bugs away.
Well, there you go. That's
well, I'll tell you what, if you eat that with beans, you're going to keep the other operators away.
Does that count for the natural power QSO, though?
I don't know. I guess it depends, Michael, how you implement it.
It's something. Oh, boy. Well,
I got a couple of
gone down the toilet humor tonight, so thank you.
We got a couple of comments here. So, the best way to explain field day to my parents and convince them is actually meaningful and worth taking to me. I'm 14 and they barely understand ham radio. So this, get them out there and get on the air. I guess that's kind of the best thing to do. Absolutely.
And when you're there and someone shows up in the public, be enthusiastic. Don't ignore them. Go out and talk to them, and talk up the hobby, talk up ham radio.
Yep.
My very first field day was actually an accident. My family was spending the summer in San Francisco, and I was bored, so I got a book and studied for my general exam, and I passed it. And that weekend, we got in the car, and he said, I heard that there's going to be some ham radio guys up on this hill near San Francisco. So we drove up there, and sure enough, these guys had set up for field day. I mean, I was a teenager. I had absolutely no idea what these guys were doing, but we spent a couple of hours with them and had a great time watching them operate field day.
Awesome. So.
And that's the thing about it. It's not just the event itself, but you build memories. There's a shared experience. It seems like every ham at some point in their life, or in their hobby, has experienced field day. We all kind of have that shared experience, and then when we get together, we have to tell those stories, good, bad, or ugly. When Murphy shows up on field day, it happens to everyone. We share those experiences. We laugh about it. The times that we stayed up all night, or the times that, the storm comes through, which seems to happen every year. But you got to tell the storm story.
Yep.
And you tell the storm story every year to someone else that comes through, and then they tell the story. You kind of get together to build a community. And I think that's the greatest part about field day. It's not just me on the air, but it's the community.
It's the community. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that we were keen to put into the pullout section had to do with field day safety. It seems every year that somebody does something, like they push a tri-bander on a pole up into some trees, and there's a power line in there, and somebody gets hurt or worse.
Oh yeah.
So and when the storm comes rolling through, if you've been crafty and you've got a wire antenna way up in the trees, you might unplug it for a little while and head back to the car. So, you don't become that kind of a story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or, make sure that your beam is firmly attached to the mast, the pneumatic mast that's being pumped up. So when it goes, poof, it doesn't go flying. It goes in someone's trailer.
Boy, pneumatic
Another
mast.
story.
I got to operate field day with you guys. Pneumatic mast. What the heck is that?
It's a long story, but we have since retired that mast.
It needs to be rehabbed, but oh goodness. So
what we did was we used a bucket truck from a friend who worked for an electrical contractor, and we put the thing on a little pole in the bucket and just pushed it up into the air.
Well, a bucket truck has been discussed this year, so we're seeing if we can get one. And if so, where it's in a church parking lot, and they have wooden light poles. Our goal is to put a couple pulleys at the top of the wooden light poles, and then everyone can bring an antenna and we can try it.
Yeah,
and it's easy up, easy down, and we can just swap them out in a couple of moments.
See, for us, we have an advantage over Wisconsin, which is everybody's west of us. So we take a tri-bander, we point it west, and it's all over. You guys are back and forth.
What the nice thing about being in the Midwest is we can work both coasts without, with a wire antenna, and you hear it from both sides, and everything is just louder and bigger on the air for us. So
we have half the distance to go to the West Coast. So.
No, that's true. That's true. I brought along, I didn't know if you guys wanted to see this stuff or not, but one of the things that we get a lot of feedback about every year, for whatever reason, people are fanatical about their field day t-shirts. They want field day hats. They want to be able to pump it up. So this year, and it's really funny how much effort went into the design of the logo, because every year folks want to see a new logo. So I don't know if you saw it or not, but this is that's the field day shirt for this year.
Yep.
And one of the other things that we did, I think these are insulated, but these insulated field day cups.
Oh, nice.
You can put your coffee in it and whatever. But I'll tell you what, if you're one of the first 5 people and you guys, by the way, don't count. So just step away from the keyboard and pretend if you're one of the first 5 people that sends an email to marketing@arrl.org. Okay. I'll give you a minute. You can bring up your email client It's at marketing@arrl.org. If you can answer this question, you get a mug. It's all full of stickers and patches and pins and stuff for field day, and you get a t-shirt. All you have to do is let us know who the chili recipe was named after. You can do that. You're one of the first 5 people. You get an ARRL field day package.
No,
Let us know your call sign and your mailing address, and we'll shoot it out right away.
There you go. And I held that page up just not less than 5 minutes ago.
Again. So don't hold it up again.
I'm not going to hold it up again. So
now all of QST's web servers are going to crash right now. We're going to it.
But you talk about the field day shared experience, and I mentioned, David, I mentioned to you that our club has been doing field day since 1935. It was founded in 1934. So today I took a moment and I went through the QST archives and I found the field day results from 1935, and they had a little write-up about our club, and it said that W9 LED/9, representing the Wausau Radio Operators Club, Wisconsin, used 3.5 megacycles exclusively, 6 members setting up the equipment on Rib Mountain. 2 71As in a battery-powered crystal rig made 61 contacts, 549 points score, in spite of terrible QRN, rain, and wind storms. So 80 years later, nothing has changed.
Oh, we still had storms every Saturday night.
And 80 meters is QRN Central.
And sometimes it's QRM Central too, depending on the
Yeah, it gets pretty noisy at night, that's for sure. But I love the overnight shift and dropping down to that band, and so they've been doing it ever since. And I don't know if we've ever missed. Probably this last year was the first time we ever officially canceled a field day.
Yeah, I am the first president of the Wisconsin Valley Radio Association in 80 some odd years to cancel field day, except maybe for during World War II. So I have like the scarlet letter on me now. Thanks, COVID.
But we'll be back. So we got it. Oh. And I think we've got a good plan to make it a safe field day. And I think that's important. It's to consider that even though we're kind of on the downward trend with COVID, we should do what you can to make it safe. Keep the hand sanitizers and wipe down stations as necessary. And it's if people feel comfortable with a mask, it's wear the mask. Get vaccinated for sure. And then let it be fun for everyone. So.
Yeah, we're very fortunate.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate here in Connecticut because the vaccination rate is up over 70% for the entire state. And being able to do a field day event this year, I mean, all the restaurants are open now. You don't need a mask. The grocery stores, pretty much everywhere you can go without worrying about that because of the vaccination level within the state. So
that's nice. That's really nice. I know Wisconsin is just under 50. I think it's in the mid 40s right now. It depends on what part of the state you're in. So it's we're working it. So
slowly but surely.
Yeah.
We've got some folks in headquarters that are interested in doing field day in the parking lot.
Okay.
So not using any of our towers or commercial mains, and getting everybody on the air and you hear something running.
Oh, you know what? Oh, that is somebody just turned on the garden hose. I guess I'm in the basement, so.
I thought it was the fire suppression system.
I thought the mothership was coming for you, Michael.
It's probably my wife watering the plants. That's what she did. She's used the outdoor spigot is just right above my head here. And in fact, I ground my station to it. So
well, Joe and I were looking at sounds like 75 meters. Would you turn on the radio or what's going on?
Yeah, it's been one of those days. So, you talk about safety, and yeah, the HQ says, yeah, don't forget the sunscreen. Safety first. It's, every year it seems to be hot and sunny, and at field day, and I know it's wear a hat or stay under the shade or or the sunscreen. So
I have to remember these. I'm the safety officer this year. I don't know why I have to be the safety officer.
We wrote them down in the addendum to QST, Joe. All you have to do is pull it out, take it.
Yep.
You got it.
And I got a couple of videos on my channel. I got one on the 10 things you need to know to be a safety officer, to have a safe field day. And I think I got another one that tells you how to fill out that NTS radiogram so you can get your quick 100 points to your section manager.
You got to get your bonus points. Yes.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing.
And Michael, being on the city council, is our elected official, so we get the bonus points just for him showing up.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Well, it always used to be another one of our club members' wives was on city council, and she's actually a ham as well. So she was always the bonus. But now that Michael's there, we just write him down.
Our club usually has the distinction of making more points off the bonuses than they do of actual contacts. We seem to have we've got a lot of people that like to set things up, and we haul out everything in the kitchen sink, and then the radios just sit there. Come on, get on the air. Do something with this.
Because we all sit around and talk too much.
Because we sit around because it's homecoming, so we all sit around and talk, and then we just go down the checklist of bonuses. It's media, public information, elected official, emergency manager, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Get our radiograms out and copy the message, and before you know it, we score almost all of the bonuses. I think the only one that we ever struggle with is the satellite contacts.
Every year we try.
We put the hints in the supplement so you can make your one contact.
Yeah.
Well, our two satellite gurus, bless their heart, they've made satellite contacts every other day of the year. And at field day, I think they've been dry for, 4 years running.
Oh,
so
I'll tell you, the secret to making your satellite contact during field day is very simple. Do it in the middle of the night. If you try to do a daytime pass, you've got all the AMSAC guys, all the field day guys, everyone's stepping on each other. But in the middle of the night, most of those guys are sleeping. So.
We're gonna have to tell Gary that
our two guys are sleeping as well.
Yeah.
Well, somebody wake them up.
Wake them up and get them on the air. So we're gonna, I'll go over to Gary's house and roast him if that's what we need to do. So.
Well, we'll be real close to his house this year, so we're good.
Yeah.
So, guys, can we grab? I'm watching these questions roll by, and I feel bad that there was a question there about if I'm not in a club. Is there any recommendation to participate in field day?
Oh, here we go. Yeah. For those of us not in a club yet, on the best way to participate. And probably the easiest way to find a field day site is to go on to the ARRL's website and use the field day finder, wouldn't it?
Well, you could do that, but, regardless of what kind of a station you have, my advice is get on the air.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to try a new antenna, you guys were talking about QRP before. I had an amplifier power supply blow right at the beginning of a contest, and I was so irritated. I said, you know what? I'm not even going to play around with 100 watts. I'll go down to 5 watts. So
there we go.
So I operated QRP. And during the first night of the contest, I used an off-center fed dipole, and I didn't feel like I was getting out right. I was making good contacts, but the next day I dropped that antenna and just put up a regular 40-meter dipole. And the next night, some of the stations I couldn't work on the off-center fed dipole, like New Zealand, I was able to work on the high 40-meter dipole.
Sure.
So if you're at home and you want to operate field day, take a few days before the contest, maybe put up a new antenna, but do something to make sure that you can get on the air. And actually, with field day, one of the rules that changed is home stations can contact other home stations. And, just get on and do that, but don't let the opportunity to work field day pass you by.
Yeah. And if you can't find a club to participate with, you can do it solo. I know I did it. I went solo last year and spent the weekend camping, and but otherwise you could set up in a park. If you're familiar with parks on the air, it's the same. It's the same thing. To get yourself, what you need to do for field day, what you need to do for parks on the air. Just get yourself a battery, and you don't have to do all 27 hours. You can just do it for an afternoon if you want it. So.
And the other thing about field days, it's not a contest. You're not competing with anyone. This is just for you to be able to take a look at a measure of what you can do, what you want to do, what your station can do. And that's really all it is.
Yeah. So excellent. So I got another question here. Are there ARL or Aries pamphlets we can print and distribute at field day for the public organizations that visit? So.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to be able to do that at field day, drop me an email at ceo@arrl.org and I'll set you up.
There you go. Yeah, I know there's stuff online that you can find and download, but drop David an email.
I might even throw something else in the box.
So
and there goes David's email server.
Whoops.
Steve wants to know, why not alternate year to year from summer to winter field day for us lower latitudes to enjoy?
Oh, come on.
The thing about
in Wisconsin and the Northeast, I don't know who's got it worse.
It's hot everywhere, I suppose, for summer field day. Winter field day, it's I know the winter field day is not an ARRL event, but it presents its own challenges too, especially in our northern climes. So
challenges and opportunities. You can get on 160 meters and it'll be open.
Yes. So let's see. Yeah, it'll be great to hear W1AW on the air, of course. So
let me tell you that's from N1NUG, Rob, who has his own channel, right? And he also has worked with us on preparing a video series about building that end-fed half wave, and we took it out to a park in Windsor Locks, and we'll be putting those videos up on our YouTube channel in the next, I'd say, couple of weeks or so. But 741, heck of a good guy.
Yes, great, excellent channel. I like his content. So anyone just gonna quick look through the questions here to see if there's anything else.
I saw Delta Hotel 1 Alpha was in there. You're 59 from Norway Alpha to Alpha. I think we've got the same number of alphas in our call.
That's a whole lot of alphas.
Sure is. It's great on CW.
Yeah. Raven asks, "This is my first field day. What should I bring? My HT? Any special antennas?"
Whatever you want.
You can bring whatever you want. If you're gonna, it's a lot of times if you're gonna participate with a group, you can just show up and they'll have everything you might need.
I'd bring my own headphones and I'd bring my appetite.
Yes.
Good point. Yep.
In effect, yeah, especially this year, I highly recommend everybody, it's get your own set of headphones and use so you don't have to use the community ones because it makes a big difference. So that's
while you're on that, make sure you have 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch jacks. So depending on what radio you're on.
Yep,
Yeah,
some of these-
definitely. And you find a nice comfy pair of headphones or earbuds or whatever, because once you get going, especially at night, you kind of tune everything out. That's when the real fun begins.
Yeah, yeah. Although don't spend a lot of money on headphones for field day, because headphones and mosquito repellent do not mix. So I had a pair that just completely melted the foam pieces.
I can't tell you with my sets of Heil headphones that I've taken down to Bonaire how many sets of cushions I've had to replace over the years from all of the operating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little too much Jeet on the ears, you'll start looking like Princess Leia.
Yeah, clubs. Yeah, don't need to be a club member. Clubs are usually inviting. Like I said, it's a big homecoming. People drop in all the time, and it's if you want to meet other hams in the community, it's find your local field day site on the Field Day Finder, and you'll be you'll meet tons of people. So
a lot of times you're just able to just drop right in, say hello.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think too many people aren't going to kick anyone out, especially even this year. I don't think anyone's going to really get kicked out.
No, and they'll probably even invite you to dinner, even if you didn't bring an item for potluck. So
because no one goes home hungry at field day.
No, that's for sure. In fact, I always seem to bring home more food than I take. So it's I don't know how
because you're a bad cook. Oh, did I say that out
loud? Nobody's complained about my breakfast yet. So,
no.
And with that, we're kind of coming to the end of the show here. So
can we pick up that question from Don?
Yes. That just came through. Trying to learn the ham radio test. I'm going to Kentucky from Indiana to take my test, and then go to field day. I need help to study for it. So
Can I make a recommendation?
Go for it.
So we have had a new addition to the ARRL staff in terms of providing content. As you guys probably know, especially since I'm sitting here, one of the things that I've tried to do as CEO is to really engage with the YouTube content creators. And one of the guys who I just think is phenomenal is KE0OG.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was an Ogie, but, pretty early on. And we have just signed him to do a monthly column in QST called Ask Dave.
Oh, nice.
And he has a series of videos for preparing for the technician test. And I would encourage anyone that is just getting started and wants to have that casual mentoring experience, in preparing to take the test, to watch Dave's videos. They're fabulous. You can pick up the ARRL licensing manual from the store. He uses that for each sub chapter is a different video, and it's just a great casual way to be able to prepare for the test. So, Don, I wish you well. I hope that you pass your test. I hope you have fun on field day, and let us know that you got your call sign.
Yes, absolutely.
On a side note, I've taught all license classes from tech to extra, and one of the first things I put down in my recommendation is watch Dave's videos. They are so good, and he gets a lot of information in there, but it's the key bullet points in a 15 to 20-minute video. Watch one a day, or pick out the ones that you're having the problems on, and in no time you'll have a dead test taken care of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're really the video series is very approachable. It's very casual, so and people learn in different ways. So that sort of type of education works for a lot of people. So if you have trouble cracking a book, turn on the video. So.
Absolutely.
And I know it's
free. It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, W4EEY is a Gary's got some great videos too for the general and extra license. So there's tons of resources out there.
Yep.
If you want to go through a series or if you want to go through particular topics, I know a lot of my videos, I'll do something. I'll pick a topic, that pertains to either the technician or the general, and that's it gives just a little bit more clarity to maybe something that people are struggling with. So that's something that I've done with a lot of my videos. So with that, I think we're going to kind of wrap things up here this evening because we're a little bit, I try to keep her at an hour, and we're going a little bit over our time. But David, this was a fascinating conversation this evening, and
Lots of fun.
And I'm glad you could make it. And it's just good to kind of talk about this. Like I said, Field Day is that it's that shared experience, and we all have stories. And this half hour went just way too fast.
And I think after last year, with a lot of us canceled Field Day in person, it's just built up. It's like we got to do it this year, or we're gonna all lose our mind. So I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the collective. Yeah, it's that collective. We need to get back to normal. So everybody have a great Field Day. It's the fourth. As they always say, Field Day is the fourth full weekend in June. So that's June 26th and June 27th. 2021. Hope to hear you on the air.
Be safe.
Be safe.
Don't let a tower fall on your head.
No.
And stay up late at night and work those satellites.
Work the satellites. Yes. That might be our goal this year to knock that bonus off our list. So with that, we're going to kind of close things down this evening. Thanks everybody for showing up. It's greatly appreciated. We'll see you again next month, the first Thursday in July.
It'll be the Thursday after July 4th. Oh wait, no, it will be on the 1st, won't it? Yeah,
July 1st is a Thursday.
Oh boy, we'll have a 4th of July special.
There we go. The Rockets red glare. So with that, I'm Michael, KB9 VBR.
And I'm Joe, KD9 CGX, along with David, NA2AA.
73.
73.
73.